There are many topics I could be covering on this channel. Trump's plans to stay politically relevant through either a coup, a TV network, or a 2024 run, the Senate race in Georgia, Biden's first actions as president, a return to regular old philosophy content. But we're not going to do any of that because the Wokescolds are back at it with their endless search to call out anything that makes the mistake of existing. The subject of the day is the movie The Witches. Now, let me just say first off that The Witches is a shit movie. There was absolutely nothing interesting about it whatsoever, and the story can basically be summarized in one sentence. Anthropomorphic mice defeat evil witch, no nuance or characterization, and everybody is basically defined purely on their usual archetypes and physical characteristics. Which is why, the moment I saw the film, I knew it would draw some sort of hypersensitive backlash, but I got the specific topic they chose completely wrong. So let's guess, which one of these potentially problematic elements caused the woke uprising? A. The characterization of witches all as women who are monstrous? B. The constant fat jokes? C. The characterization of makeup as an instrument for disingenuous women to hide their true rotten selves? Or D. The implicit reactionary fear of people who display unique powers? Now, the last two are things we could really talk about, mainly because I had to stretch my inelastic brain a little to think of two more potential controversies, but the real answer is E, none of the above. Apparently, the witches in their true form represent people with limb differences. Here's Rita Dorsch from CBR's take. Anne Hathaway isn't actually a human but a demon, and among other abnormal qualities, her hands and feet look similar to people with split hand. The criticism here is that it sends the message people with such disabilities are non-human and to be feared, which is a quote, devastating message. Alright, I don't know about devastating, but it seems like a somewhat reasonable criticism until you realize what kind of conclusions you'd reach with that logic. I mean, the witches are also bald. And we're not going to be like, clearly people who are follically challenged are demonic beings who must be feared. Especially bald femoids, those are even worse, right? And the fact they all have what are basically Chelsea smiles blames victims for what's been carved into their face without their consent.
And the depiction of rich witches with big noses, there couldn't be a more obvious anti-Semitic stereotype.
And, these demons having a garlic allergy is an oddly specific detail, don't you think? Are you suggesting that having allergies is a disadvantage?
Like, seriously, who of the approximately 3,600 people in the US with this syndrome is gonna think,
oh yeah, that demon bitch, she and I are basically the same?
Holy fuck. Oh, and it gets even better. Dorsch continues,
rather than give the antagonist interesting motivations, filmmakers simply make them look, sound, or act strange. The phenomenon is even more egregious when done in the context of a children's movie, as the target audience doesn't have the capacity or maturity to process the problematic characterization.
Wait, but that's exactly why this effect was used. Children are really just a bunch of little fascists, aren't they? They only understand basic human tendencies like tribalism and fear of the new. This uncanny valley shit is exactly what makes the character scary to children. You have to have something that looks just enough like a human, but a tiny bit off. Obviously, the film fails in every other respect because it's bad writing, but your criticism, when taken to its logical end, would basically make horror movies and fantasy movies, which rely on the concept of the other, unacceptable as genres. Is the portrayal problematic? I guess, but unless it's actually targeting some group of people, there's no reason for outrage or the accusation that the movie is somehow harmful. Let me just say one more thing. This Lucky Finn project the article cites says,
differences aren't tragedies, limitations, or anything to be afraid of. They're to be supported and celebrated.
I'm sorry, but this is actually retarded. Being a unique snowflake isn't necessarily good or bad. I can just imagine these people biologically engineering people to have green skin or something because it'll increase diversity. In fact, being disabled is bad. Yes, real hot take there, I know, but I said it. We didn't evolve 5 fingers because it wasn't a biological advantage. Having less fingers is by definition limiting. Now, sure, that doesn't mean having some disability makes you worthless, but why the fuck would you celebrate a disability? That's not progressive, it's just fucking stupid. Believe it or not, having a bunch of people around with severe disabilities isn't good for anyone. We should be doing everything we can to address that, which might mean stem cell research to grow missing body parts, or some sort of eugenics program to make sure people who have the misfortune of being born onto this shitty world can at least not constantly suffer from malfunctional body parts. And no, this isn't some sort of racist or transphobic dog whistle, and I oppose unnecessary intersex assignment surgery. It's more along the lines of incest is bad, maybe because children born with deformities is bad. Now, I have nothing against people who have some sort of disability, unless they're annoying, of course. Then I want to push them off a cliff in Minecraft. But if recognizing that a world with less disabled people in it would have less suffering is somehow bigoted, then I guess an ableist is what I am. Fuck off. Oof, looks like I'm having trouble sticking to my upload schedule. If I don't start pumping out a backlog to release on slow weeks, this channel will probably go the way of the gym membership and slowly wither away. I'll be working on a solution that hopefully doesn't reduce content of quality. I mean, fuck. Yeah, I probably jumped the shark already. Y'all should subscribe anyway just to find out what will happen in the future. Anyway, check out my original soundtrack in the description below. Bye.
I'm and I approve this message.